Welcome back to Shadow Whispers Labs. Dim the lights, lock your doors, because some stories were never meant to be told. This is one of them.
Night shift rule number 1. Dr. Ethan Cole's supervisor had told him on his very first day at St. Mercy Hospital, if you ever see a patient wearing a red wristband, don't get in the elevator with them. At the time, Ethan laughed it off. Hospitals were full of dark jokes, especially the old ones. But 3 months later, he stopped laughing. St. Mercy was the kind of hospital that never truly slept. Machines beeped in empty hallways. Wheelchairs sometimes moved on their own. And at exactly 2:13 a.m. every night, the basement elevator would open by itself. That night, rain hammered against the windows while thunder rattled the building. Ethan had been awake for almost 20 hours after a brutal emergency surgery. A patient named Walter Briggs had died on his operating table less than an hour earlier. Massive internal bleeding. No pulse. Time of death, 1:47 a.m. Ethan remembered one detail clearly. The nurse had removed Walter's green hospital wristband and replaced it with a red one. Red meant deceased. Around 2:10 a.m., a nurse asked Ethan to retrieve extra blood bags from the basement storage room. He rubbed his exhausted eyes and headed toward the elevator at the end of the corridor. The hallway was strangely quiet. Too quiet. Even the usual sounds of monitors and intercoms had gone silent. When the elevator doors slid open, a woman was already standing inside. She looked pale. Not sick pale. Dead pale. Long black hair covered part of her face, and her hospital gown hung loosely from her thin frame. She stood perfectly still in the corner of the elevator, staring at the floor. Ethan forced a polite smile before stepping in.
Late night walk?
No response. Patients were sometimes allowed to wander the halls at night to calm anxiety, especially long-term patients. Still, something felt wrong. Very wrong. Ethan pressed the button for basement level 1. That's when he noticed something strange. The woman hadn't pressed any floor button, yet she had already been inside the elevator. A cold feeling crawled up Ethan's spine. The elevator descended slowly. Floor 3, floor 2, floor 1. Then, ding! The doors opened to the dark basement hallway. The lights down there flickered violently, and in the distance, someone was running toward the elevator. A man in a torn hospital gown, limping, dragging one leg behind him.
Wait!
Ethan instinctively reached for the close door button. As the man got closer, the overhead lights flashed across his wrist. Red. Ethan froze.
No, it couldn't be.
The man stumbling toward the elevator was Walter Briggs, the patient who died an hour ago. Ethan's breathing became shallow as panic slammed into him. The dead man got closer. Closer. His face looked grey and swollen from surgery. His mouth hung slightly open.
Please, don't leave me down here.
Ethan repeatedly smashed the close button. The elevator doors finally slid shut just before Walter reached them. The elevator began rising. Ethan backed into the corner, breathing hard, sweat dripping down his forehead. Beside him, the woman slowly turned her head toward him for the first time. Her voice was calm.
Why would you do that? He was trying to get on the elevator.
Did you see his wrist? It was red.
His voice shook violently.
He died tonight. I know because I performed his surgery.
For several seconds, the woman said nothing. Then, slowly, she raised her arm. The hospital wristband slid from beneath her sleeve. Bright red. She smiled.
Like this one?